In this video, we will be learning how to use will, be going to, the future continuous tense, the future perfect tense, the present continuous tense, and the present simple tense to talk about the future. How do we talk about the future using will or be going to? We use them with the base form of a verb. Look at the example on the screen. We can say, Charlie will sing, or Charlie is going to sing. When do we use will or be going to talk about the future? We usually use will to talk about something we think or believe will happen in the future, and use be going to talk about what we intend to do in the future. However, the two forms we just learned are not the only ways to talk about the future in English. Besides using will or be going to, we can also use the future continuous tense to talk about the future. This tense is formed using shall or will, the verb to be, and the ing form of a verb. For example, Miranda will be dancing in a performance this time tomorrow. When do we use the future continuous tense? The future continuous tense is used to talk about something that will be in progress at a time in the future. Miranda's performance will be in progress at the said time in the future, so we may use the future continuous tense to talk about it. Now, let's take a look at another way to talk about the future. Besides will, be going to, and the future continuous tense, we can also use the future perfect tense to talk about future actions. We form the future perfect tense with will have and the past participle of a verb. For example, the project will have finished by the end of next week. When do we use the future perfect tense? We use the future perfect tense to talk about something that will be completed by a certain time in the future. Let's look at this on a timeline. As you can see, the project will finish in the future, but it will finish before the end of next week. We can substitute end of next week for a time or day. The structures we have just covered are not the only ways we have to talk about the future. Sometimes we can use the present continuous to talk about something arranged or planned for the future. In the example, we are having dinner at a restaurant tonight. The speaker is talking about having dinner in the future. The word tonight tells us that the dinner is not happening at the present time. We can also use the present simple to talk about future events which are part of a timetable. Thanks to the train schedule, we know that the train arrives at 4 p.m. Therefore, we can use the present simple to describe when the train arrives. When do we use the future tenses? There are many occasions on which you will need to talk about things that will happen in the future. For example, we often use them in conversations and in emails or letters of invitation. Now, let's have some reading practice. Can you identify the actions or events that will occur in the future? The answers are the writing competition, submitting short stories, and helping students improve their writing. The phrase next month, the use of the present continuous tense, and the use of will show that the actions will occur in the future. let's have some listening practice. Question 1. Listen to sentences A and B and decide which sentence talks about an action occurring in the future. A. The play was so boring that most of the audience had left before the final act. B. I'll call you as soon as I can. The answer is B. I'll call you as soon as I can. Question 2. Listen to sentences C and D and decide which sentence talks about an action occurring in the future. C. Don't call my office number next week, as I will be working from home. D. The online shop hasn't refunded their money as promised. The answer is C. Don't call my office number next week, as I will be working from home. Now, let's practice writing. Complete the sentences using the given words and the structures you have learned in this video. The answers are now on the screen. The first blank can be completed with is going to retire next year or is retiring next year. The second blank can be will have taught at this school for 20 years. After writing, let's have some speaking practice. Answer the following questions about the future out loud. Question 1. When will you have dinner tonight? Question 2. Where will you go tomorrow? Question 3. What are your plans for the weekend?